Hey, 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 don't you worry. We will be dipping our toes back into the Quinn Hughes conversation later today because seems like the Rangers could be getting their feet wet in that one. But in this video, we're not talking about Captain Quinn, we're talking about some really interesting Canucks updates in regards to Kiefer Sherwood. And this guy right here, Thatcher Demko, he's returning to the Vancouver Canucks lineup on Thursday, as confirmed by Adam Foote. And I'll just go out there and say this. For me personally, I want Thatcher Demko to have the best NHL career possible, the best life possible. But do I believe he will be able to sustain the rest of the Vancouver Canucks season as a primary 1A starter? I'd be lying if I said 1,000,000% yes. I just don't know. But we'll see. He'll be back Thursday, and we'll all find out together, shall we? It's awesome news for Vancouver's Vezina-nominated netminder that he will be returning. Also, Vancouver was able to assign Jet Wu to the AHL today because he cleared waivers, so some Vancouver Canucks roster moves in that regard. But I wanted to use this video as an opportunity to dive into the latest and greatest on Kiefer Sherwood, a guy who is currently on pace for 33 goals on the year. Man, I say this literally every time, but his goal per game pace gets lower and lower every single game, every single day. The guy hasn't scored a goal in however long this is, however many games this is. The guy hasn't scored a goal in almost a month. Ay, talk about a guy that was on pace for 60 goals to open up the year. But, Kiefer Sherwood hasn't had a point in this amount of games here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. It's been quite the rough ride for Kiefer Sherwood as of late. You can debate that maybe the trade rumors have been holding him back, or it's been getting him in a rough spot on the ice. It's affected the way he is played. Maybe, maybe not, who really knows. But the bottom line is, this guy went from having a season that was clearly on pace to shattering his career high to just barely getting above that. He's on pace for 44 points now, which is not bad. I mean, I think a lot of NHL teams would want to add a 40-plus point guy who can hit like Sherwood does and who can potentially get 33 goals. But as we said, the guy was on pace for 35 goals and 38 goals and 40 goals and 42 goals. As long as you go back in time and you look at all the videos we've made about him, he hasn't scored any goals in a month. So his goal per game pace has definitely declined. Anyways, despite that fact, interest in Kiefer Sherwood seems to be remaining high. And we have ourselves a tweet from NHL Rumor Report that cites a David Pagnotta comment yesterday that describes that. Take a look at this. Pagnotta said in the fourth period yesterday regarding Kiefer Sherwood, trade talks continue with teams like the Minnesota Wild, Montreal Canadiens, and the Dallas Stars. I don't believe, as of today, the Canucks have granted teams permission to speak with his agent about a possible extension. And Nav goes out there and replies saying this, Canucks will wait till he hasn't scored in 25 games and the offer is dropped to a 4th-round pick instead. Yeah, honestly, I kind of agree with this. Like, for Vancouver, it doesn't really seem like Kiefer Sherwood is going to be signed. I think the idea of him getting traded was cemented into most Canucks fans' minds. Let's just say a week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago even, when the guy stopped scoring goals all of a sudden. And I'm looking at it like this. If Vancouver is in a spot where they're pretty much going to trade this guy away, doesn't really look like there's an avenue for the Canucks to re-sign Sherwood. They're going to send him over to a team that can use him in the playoffs, and maybe he'll be good there. Maybe it's Edmonton. Maybe it's Minnesota. Who really knows? But if you're going to trade this guy, why are you not giving teams the opportunity to talk to his agent about an extension? Oh, that's going to lose leverage, right? Oh, if we let teams talk to the agent, that means we're going to trade him, and that means that we're going to get a smaller return. No, don't think about it like that. Think about it like, hey, if we allow teams to talk to his agent, then teams will be more inclined to trading for him because then there will be an extension in place. It can be a sign and trade situation. Teams will have the confidence to make a move for him if they know they're going to be able to keep him. Furthermore, let's go out there and talk about these teams, shall we? Because it was discussed earlier on The Athletic by Michael Russo and Joe Smith that the Minnesota Wild have significant interest in Kiefer Sherwood. The 30-year-old Canucks winger is a UFA, eligible in July. The Wild reportedly offered the Canucks a good young prospect to suit their asking price, but the cost has been raised. They now want a good roster player and are also seeking a first-round pick. It's rumored the Canucks remain interested in sidelined Wild center Marco Rossi, but Russo and Smith don't see them trading Rossi for Sherwood. Now, this is on Spectre's Hockey from earlier this morning, and Spectre's note goes out there and says here that a roster player and a first is a high price for Sherwood. It's doubtful that any club will pony up that much to get him. The Canucks were interested in Rossi during the offseason. During his podcast on Monday, Elliot Friedman said the Wild asked about Aatu Räty, but the Canucks didn't want to move him because they wanted to give Räty a chance. Now, I'll say this, man. Good roster player and a first-round pick? I'm not sure about that. Sherwood, his value is going down. The guy hasn't scored a goal in a month. And maybe this video is propaganda for the other teams to say, yeah, no, maybe this guy isn't really all too good compared to what we had seen out of him at the start of the year. But thinking about what Minnesota, Montreal, and Dallas could potentially offer, I'm willing to even take a step back. It doesn't have to be a first-round pick and a roster player. Maybe just a really nice player and a second or something like that. You go over to Minnesota, for example, you look at the centers that they have in their system. Yeah, sure, you're probably not getting any of these guys, a Johansson or a Yakov Trenin or whatever. I mean, Trenin, is he a guy that I'd be okay with? I'm not too sure. There are some decent names in their prospect pool. I'm not really too sure if any of them move the needle as much, though. I mean, Riley Heidt is an interesting name, so is Hunter Heidt. I'm not really too sure if any of these guys would fully move the needle for a Kiefer Sherwood deal. Going over to Montreal, if you want to just specifically talk about centers, I mean, Michael Hage is really good. He's got the shadow of a Jack Eichel whenever he skates around. You've got L.J. Mooney, whom Canadiens fans absolutely love, and Atos Koivu, who happens to be a relative of Saku. So obviously there are some names, I'd say, in the Montreal system that would be very intriguing to get in a Kiefer Sherwood transaction. Not sure if the Canadiens would pull it off. Maybe they would try to offer up an Owen Beck instead, which I'm not too sure if the Montreal Canadiens would even get it done if they offered that. Sean Farrell, I also like Sean Farrell, but I think he's kind of past the point where it's projectable to see him as an NHLer long-term. Kiefer Sherwood, though, he'd be super cool on the Montreal Canadiens. He would play very well, and under a Martin St. Louis system, I think there would be a lot to like out of that. And then you have the Dallas Stars. Now, the Stars, I think they would probably be able to use Sherwood to his absolute peak capacity, just with the amount of scoring they have on all of their lines. Sherwood on a Dallas system would absolutely wreak havoc. And if Vancouver could get themselves a really nice prospect coming back, I mean, I like Cameron Hughes because of the idea that having a Hughes would be nice for the organization. Antonio Strongis has not broken out yet, but his skating will take him a long way. I'm not really too sure if he has an NHL future, though, to be honest. And then you have Cole Lind in the forward core on the right wing. Yeah, no, the Vancouver Canucks are not trading for Cole Lind, unfortunately. Anyways, Maverick Bourque is a nice guy. I'd like to see him as a potential trade chip, but Bourque, is that a guy that Dallas would be interested in giving up for Kiefer Sherwood? Probably not, if I'm being honest here. So there might be some problems in trying to work out a cost for Kiefer Sherwood that each party is okay with. If it's a first-round pick and a roster player, I'm not too sure if that actually gets it done, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Chief Keef and the Wild, Canadiens, and Stars being the trade options over here? Thoughts in the comment section below. Do you like these teams? Do you not? I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.